Hey guys, Kris here, and welcome to the 10 to 80% charging speed and charging time test, where we put the manufacturer's claimed charging speed to the test. But even more importantly, we are finding out how long it takes to go from 10 to 80% stated charge, as well as the average speed you get from 10 to 80% stated charge. I will also be generating a curve at the end of the video, and we're going to go through the actual charging session, and at the very end we're going to put the charging time, the charging speed, and all the data into a chart to see how quickly this car charges in minutes per hour and kilometers per hour, and also compared to all the other cars I've done this test with. And guys, if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. I'm Kris. I have this YouTube channel dedicated to testing EVs. I do range tests, efficiency tests. I drive EVs down to 0% stated charge to see how far a car can go on a full charge battery. I do charging tests like this and also reviews. So please be sure to drop a like on the video down below if you like EV content, and also subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And you might be asking, why 10 to 80% stated charge? Well, in my opinion, that is the real usage of a battery while taking an EV out on a long trip. So usually you would come to a Lightning or a rapid charger with around 10% stated charge. You may come with a little bit less or a little bit more, and then you often don't want to go above 80% because most cars, charge slow above 80%. And even this Audi E-Tron GT that has a peak speed of 270 kilowatts of charging speed will charge slow above 80%. Maybe not at 80%, but maybe 85 or 90 or 95% stated charge. So to be on your way as quickly as possible, it really doesn't make any sense to charge above 80% in some EVs, and in some EVs 70%. But that is what we're finding out today, and that's why we're doing this test and generating a charging curve. And also, usually I have done some artificial heating of the battery while doing these tests, but I've changed up the testing procedure to do this test at the end of a range test I've done. So that is what I've done today. I've been on the road, well, maybe like 3 hours with this car, and then after that driving session, I connect to a charger to see what kind of speed you do get, because you want to have a battery that is warm to get that optimal charging speed. And also, outside temperature today is like 15-16 degrees Celsius. So we're just going to charge here till 80% stated charge, and then at the end of the charging session, when I'm done here charging, I'm going to meet up with you guys, and then we're going to go through the data and all this stuff. Welcome back to me after the charging session. Well, for you guys, it's only been a split second, and for me, it hasn't been much longer, because the charging speed in this Audi E-Tron GT it's totally insane. It's unlike anything I have ever tested before. Even, something like a Tesla Model 3 pre-2021 models, when, Tesla actually quoted charging speed back in the day, and you could get well over 250 kilowatts of peak speed. Even the charging curves I've seen from those cars aren't close to this. This thing is insane. So we'll have to wait for the Tesla Model S Plaid to, well, see something that can match this. So this with the Porsche Taycan are now the kings of charging. I mean, this thing is insane. We're going to go through all the numbers and all the stats and the actual charging session and the charging curve in just a bit. But I forgot to tell you guys that, usually when we do these charging sessions, these tests, I either do them at Circle K in Sandvika or at Circle K in Norsk or in, is it called Fjellhamar? But those chargers peak at 150 kilowatts. That's why we've taken the trip today to Dal to the 350 kilowatt chargers. So, I mean, yeah, so we're just going to dive into it. I'm going to show you guys the charging session, and I'm going to overlay the video now. So we connected to the charger at 5% state charge, and the speed immediately climbed up till 253 kilowatts, which was the speed we had at 10% state charge. And up till 20% state charge, the speed just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing, and we hit 261 kilowatts at 20% state charge. And then up until 30% state charge, the speed keeps on climbing yet again, and then we peak at 265 kilowatts at 30% stated charge. And then at 31% stated charge, we throttle, but just a bit, down to 255 kilowatts. And then up until 40% stated charge, the speed keeps climbing and climbing, and then we peak at 258 kilowatts. And then we keep that speed, well, we actually peak at 259, and at 47% stated charge, we throttle, and then we're down to 246. And then we climb up till 249 at 50% stated charge, and then at 50% stated charge, we again throttle down to 226. And then we keep climbing a bit up until 221 kilowatts at 53% stated charge. We again throttle, and then we're down to 202 kilowatts. And then we keep climbing up until 57% stated charge, up until 209 kilowatts, and then again we throttle down to 185 kilowatts. And then at 60% stated charge, we're at 190, and then we throttle again down to 173, and then we just keep climbing up until 180 kilowatts at 63% stated charge. At 64% stated charge, we're down to 170. And then at 67% stated charge, we throttle again, hitting 155. And then we climb up until 70% stated charge, where we hit 161. And then again we throttle at that stated charge, and we're down to 145 kilowatts. The speed keeps climbing up till 153 kilowatts at 74% stated charge, and then we again throttle. We hit maybe the biggest drop yet. We're down to 114 kilowatts at 74% stated charge. And then the speed just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing until we hit 80% stated charge with 121 kilowatts. And then we throttle down to 85 kilowatts at 80% stated charge. So as you guys can see from the charging curve, it's a bit of an interesting charging curve. It's a little bit similar to something you will find in a Polestar 2, where you hit that peak and then it throttles and then you start climbing again. A little bit like a Sabertooth, but the speeds here are just much more insane, and the climbing and dropping is much more stable than in something like a Polestar 2. And we basically have a flat charging curve from connecting at 5% stated charge until about 50% stated charge. We're above 250 kilowatts, and then it starts to dip down. But it's insane. The charging curve here is unlike anything. It's super flat, and the only car that is flatter than this is my Audi E-Tron that has 150 kilowatts from 0 to 79% stated charge. But this just trumps it. This just trumps it. And then in the time that it took to go from 10 to 80% stated charge was 18 minutes and 40 seconds. 18 minutes and 40 seconds. That is half the time of most of the cars I have tested. Like the Skoda Enyaq I tested just a few days ago, did 10 to 80% in 34 minutes. This does it in just about half that time, and this has a bigger battery pack, guys. The net battery capacity of this car is 84 kilowatt hours, and in that 10 to 80% stated charge, we were delivered 64.41 kilowatt hours. It's insane. This thing is insane. So what we do is that we take that 18 minutes and 40 seconds, convert that into metrics, which is 18.66 minutes or 0.311 hours. We take the juice delivered, divided by that time, we get an average charging speed of 207 kilowatts. That is insane. That is insane. The best charging curves I've seen from the Tesla Model 3 pre-2021 models is an average charging speed of just above 150 kilowatts, because the charging curve isn't as flat as this, not even close. So as it sits now, this thing is insane. This is totally crazy, this charging curve and the charging time. Is there room for improvement? Yes, there is. Do we need much more improvement? I don't really think so, because this car can go almost or more than 400 kilometers at an average speed of over 100 kilometers an hour on the motorway. It's insane. But this chart here down below, guys, is going to blow your mind. Look at the charging speed in kilometers per hour. Over 1,000 kilometers per hour in charging speed. I mean, nothing is close. The previous leader was my Audi E-Tron at above 700 kilometers per hour, and then just below that was the Tesla Model 3 2021 model long range. And those two cars, you know, have insane charging speed, but this is just in its own league because it's very efficient and then it just charges super fast. I mean, yeah, this EV is insane. So guys, let me know what you think. I can't think of anybody commenting anything negative about this car other than its price and it not being, you know, as big and practical as other EVs. This is a sports super saloon EV, and yeah, this is a true cross-continental cruiser because you could just missile. I mean, you could just top up so quickly in this car. It is insane. It is insane. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always guys, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.